I'm telling you, the whole performance kept getting even more grander. I mean, I'm at loss for words. My jaw was dropped throughout the entire performance. When you think it couldn't get any more grander, it just does, because hey everyone, so we are on episode 9 of Kingdom already. I believe this upcoming Thursday is the finale. Is it the last episode? Or is it just the final performances? I know it's gonna be live. In this episode, we saw 4 amazing performances. So in case you guys are new to my channel, I do film weekly Kingdom recap videos. I have a whole playlist. I'll link it on the description box below. So in case you guys missed any of my Kingdom episode recaps, you guys could just watch it there. So yes, I am a fan of all the groups. Every single week, I am always impressed by them. I love them dearly. They're all unique and very different, and trust me, voting is one of the hardest things that I have to do every single week. Also, throughout this video, I will be asking you guys some questions, so you guys could leave your answers on the comments below to make this video a little bit more interactive. And yeah. All right, so first up is BTOB. So I like that in their performance, in the behind the scenes, they explained that the whole inspiration behind their performance, obviously it's La La Land, but it was mostly driven by their fans' Melody. And I think everyone can agree that Melody is one of the most beautiful fandom names out there. It's on the list for me. But anyway, I like that the song that they chose is a song that the fans really requested, and it is Blue Moon, and it was written by Minhyuk. And I like watching Minhyuk arrange the song and change it a bit. And again, the whole inspiration for this performance, of course, is Melody, and they wanted to bring a sort of La La Land performance onto the stage. So on the episode, Changsub said, "It's like a compilation of Melody's wishful playlist." Oh my gosh, is that not sweet? And they also brought G-Idol's Mion into the whole performance. She plays the leading lady. And I love how before they went up to perform, all the groups, they were cheering for them. I mean, it just shows BTOB is the type of group that you want to have in your life. You want them to be your friends because they're just so friendly and easygoing and caring, and the list goes on. So I absolutely loved the whole storyline. First of all, how it starts with Changsub and Mion, and you think that that's the story, but then you find out that it's just a scene in a movie that they're filming, and they're actually on a movie set, and then Minhyuk is actually one of the crew members, but he's actually dating Mion. And I do want to say all the guys, how they were styled was so good. I loved it. And then Pinil in the piano. I love how Minhyuk, he sang and then he also rapped in this performance, and I loved the whole set. It was a movie set within a movie set, if that makes any sense. It was so beautiful how they had the different bar scenes and then the jazz club type of stuff. It was so amazing. It definitely had elements of La La Land, which I love because that's one of my favorite movies ever. I could talk about that movie all day. It is so good. And I love how the song was arranged. Yes, it's very jazzy, it's very musical-esque, and it was just so wonderful. And I love how in the end of the performance they have an end credits rolling and they include a melody there. That is so sweet. When I saw that, I melted. I was like, these guys are the sweetest guys in the world. But before the credits, there was the biggest plot twist that after the whole performance, I mean, first of all, Eunkwang and his amazing high note, and everyone is just around him and he's just hitting those high notes. And then at that point, I'm like, the real star of the show was Eunkwang. I mean, he literally stole the show. And then in the end, it turns out that that in itself was a movie scene. And then it turns out after they yell cut and all the guys are walking away, it turns out that Pinil is Mion's original boyfriend. So I like that whole storyline. The plot twist in the end was just so fun. It was a movie within a movie. It was creative. It was lovely. It was just so wonderful. And I congratulate BTOB and Melody because they did this for them. And it was seriously, you could tell that they did it with their whole heart. It was so wonderful. All right, so question number 1. If you guys had to pick a song from your favorite group for them to do a remake version of it, so they could change the genre, what genre would it be? So it could be a dance, high energy type of song, but you would like to hear that song sung as a ballad or like an acoustic version or something. Let me know which song from which group and which genre. Let me know on the comments below. So next up is ATEEZ, and they decided to perform their song Answer. And the reason why they chose Answer is because that was the last song that they performed in front of their fans in person. And I think that in itself is so sweet. Again, another group that they're thinking about their fans when they're creating their performance. And we saw them watch videos of their last concert and also their performance in Mamas and stuff. So this performance is supposed to represent their journey. So they do have elements of Say My Name and Wonderland and of course Answer. The title of their performance is actually called Answer Ode to Joy. So I think how it starts is amazing. It literally feels like they took the scenes straight out of their music video. When we first see Yeosang in the glass case and then we see the person with the mask, that's something that we also see in ATEEZ music video. We don't really know who the person behind that mask is. And then when the person is about to go to Yeosang, and it turns out I believe it's Songhwa that gets Yeosang out of the glass case. They have a whole storyline going, and if you've seen any of ATEEZ's music videos, this performance is a treat. And I love how San starts on the table, just like in the music video for their song Answer. So after that point, all the members, their performance was so strong. From Yuno to Wooyoung when he did that, when he got off the table. And one of my favorite moments was Yeosang was on the floor and he did that whole choreography thing. I loved it. Jungho and his high note. So the whole performance in itself felt really grand and awesome. Then when Jungho hit that high note, from that moment on, the performance just went up a whole other level, because then they bring out the special guest performers and they brought in a group called La Pomme, and they are a 4-member vocal group. So in the performance, they start singing opera, like Ode to Joy, and then the set kind of starts to change, and then this grand staircase just gets a lot bigger, and I'm telling you, the whole performance kept getting even more grander. I mean, I'm at loss for words. My jaw was dropped throughout the entire performance. When you think it couldn't get any more grander, it just does, because then they start performing Ode to Joy. You got this music, you got the vocals, and then you have this amazing choreography. There's no other word to describe it except grand and epic. And for sure, I think this is just my own personal opinion, but out of all the performances on Kingdom, this is one of my favorite arrangements. I think just blending in classical music with ATEEZ's songs, I mean, it was just so well done. And I love after that crazy awesome climax, it just goes 100% soft, and then all the members slowly go up the stairs and then they look at the camera, and that's the end of their performance. And I just loved how from 1 second to the next, they just go from this extreme high to this extreme subtle softness. I mean, if someone were to tell you that ATEEZ blends their song Answer with Ode to Joy, you think that is probably the weirdest combination ever. But after watching their performance, it is the most perfect combination. I mean, again, how it was just arranged. Every single thing about this performance left me speechless. I got chills, especially in the end. From start to finish, it was breathtaking. All right, question number 2. Which senior-junior interaction did you guys enjoy? So for example, for me, I really enjoyed TVXQ interactions with all the groups. So you guys could let me know your favorite interactions between a senior group and a junior group. Let me know on the comments below. All right, so moving on, the next group is SF9, and they decided to perform Taemin's Move. So I like that Taeyang, he was explaining the whole concept that they wanted to have a very sexy concept, but to show an even sexier concept than what they've shown before. And we see Chani kind of struggle, so he called Taemin, and I think that whole phone call interaction was so sweet, how Taemin was giving him advice and encouragement. I loved that. And also in the episode, we saw how Yuno and Changbin from TVXQ, they were talking to SF9 as well, and especially Chani, and they were also giving them advice and words of encouragement. And I loved those interactions. And I think those interactions and those conversations really did help the group and Chani. So I never realized all the details that actually go into the song Move. Watching the members of SF9 try to control their voice or change it in order to match the tone and vibe of the song, again, I didn't realize all the little details that the song requires, but it was still really interesting to watch. And I really like how they gave Chani this solo part, because I think they could have easily given it to Taeyang, but I think they wanted to really make Chani shine. But I'm really happy that Chani took on that challenge to get out of his comfort zone and to just do something different. All right, so for their performance, it was a very interesting concept. So it starts with what looks like models or mannequins, but it's models, and they're going through this sort of conveyor belt thing, like a factory. And then when it's Chani, it's like an error. And then Chani starts his solo, and I'm really happy he delivered the song so well. And then after Chani's solo performance, the camera pans to the other side, and then we see the sort of shape made out of dancers. It was really interesting. And then in the bottom, it was Dawn. And then Dawn starts his verse, and then he sort of pours a liquid into the girl's cup and stuff. And even though at that moment I didn't really know what was going on, but I was 100% really intrigued what was gonna happen. So when the guys performed the chorus on the stairs, it was definitely jaw-dropping. They owned it. I like how they added their own twist to Taemin's move. And another moment that I really enjoyed was Huyoung and his verse. I think it was really cool how he was kind of like walking on that treadmill, and then how the models are all in the side. And Zuho was another member that took my breath away. I mean, his verse was so good. And the part when he said, "I'm the male version of Venus," he owned it, all right? I'm pretty sure every single person that was watching, their jaw dropped too. And it's very interesting seeing this side of SF9 because they are really taking the whole sexy concept to another level. And then another one of my favorite moments is the dance break. It was so good. I think that was like kind of like the turning point of the whole performance, because that's when we see just a lot of colors incorporated. I think adding the dance break and Zuho's rap and stuff into the song Move, I really like how they made it their own. And then the moment when they perform the chorus, and then in the background it's just even more colors. And then in the end, when all the guys step into a different set, and it's just very colorful, and they're standing in the rain, and it's just them standing there getting wet. And that's it. Like, they don't sing, they don't dance, they don't do anything. They're literally just standing there staring at the camera. So I rewatched their performance on YouTube, and I read a comment saying that good thing that SF9 didn't perform a choreography in the rain, because if not, Fantasy, they would not be able to handle it, and they would probably faint, and then no one would be able to stream or vote because everyone would have fainted because of their performance. I'm kind of paraphrasing what that comment said, but it was somewhere along those lines. And I thought that comment was so funny because for sure, if SF9 would have danced in the rain, that would have been something. But I think their whole performance was really unique. I think the guys definitely embodied that whole subtle, sexy vibe, and especially for Taemin's Move, because that is not an easy song to perform, but I'm glad that SF9, they were able to deliver. Okay, question number 3 for the finale. If you could pick a certain prop or a certain stage effects that you would like to see in one of the final stages, what would it be? So for instance, having fire on stage, or rain, or just a giant inflatable, I don't know, snake or something. Let me know, what would you like to see for the final stages on the comments below. All right, so the next group is the Boyz. So they chose EXO's Monster. Yes, I'm a fan of EXO, if it's not quite obvious. And in the behind the scenes, I loved watching them practice. And they really practice from morning to night, from night to morning. And seeing them try to perfect every single dance move, especially in the iconic chorus. And again, it requires a lot of synchronization, and it was so fun to watch them just work really hard on it. And I like how we see them gain their energy again, even in their practices. I loved hearing them do the different sound effects while they were stomping and doing the different movements. I think it just, again, it added a lot more energy to it. And seeing Eric work on his rap verse and Sonu helping him, I think that was really sweet, and I loved seeing that as well. Their performance is called Monster Stormborn. So their performance is described as the sun passes through the moon and goes down in the desert, waking up the monster within the boys. So in the start of their performance, we do see a sort of eclipse, and I love how they entered. It was so epic. It was Changbin, and then he had Juyeon and Sonu right next to him, and the rest of the guys behind them. I think just them walking in was so epic. You could see it in their faces. They knew that this was going to be an amazing performance. And then when Eric and Changbin, they kind of slid, that was really cool. I mean, I think everything about this performance was just really awesome. I really liked the part when Juyeon is singing, but then behind him, there's sort of a ripple effect going on between the dancers and the boys. I think that was a really cool effect. And after they did the chorus, so first of all, the chorus was so good. I mean, I like how they kind of changed up the song. I loved hearing this remix. They made it sound a bit eerie, so it really did go with the whole concept and storyline of their performance. And the chorus was so good. The guys were sharp. They were totally in sync, and you could see how much energy they had because they were going all out. And then after the chorus, they did this whole dance break, which was really awesome. Again, I like how they changed up the song to fit with their whole performance. And I also love when they threw Eric over Changbin. That was great as well. It's not a performance from the boys unless someone throws themselves on someone or falls from somewhere. And then we have powerhouse vocalist Hyunjae, and his vocals was so great. And then Jacob takes over and he hits those high notes. So good. And then it followed with another dance break. And then they showed this massive snake on stage. Not a real snake, obviously, it's a prop. But it was so epic. And then Sunwoo comes out of the snake's mouth. And then he starts rapping, and you can see how much charisma Sunwoo really has on stage. He definitely flowed through his verses, and I love that. And then Eric started his verse, and he started on top of the snake, and I think his verse was so good as well. And then New ends the song, and I thought how the guys are standing, and then they stare at the camera. I think it was an amazing way to end the song. Again, New and his amazing vocals was just awesome. Honestly, the boys looked really cool in this performance. They looked like they had so much charisma, so much confidence, and it was really awesome. At the end of the performance, we see Sangyeon is crying, and we think, well, at least when Mnet showed the little preview before their performance of Sangyeon crying, it makes everyone just assume that either he got injured or someone injured themselves, some sort of drama because it's Mnet, you know? But it turns out after the performance, Sangyeon was crying because he was so proud of their performance and of the boys. I think that was the sweetest moment out of the entire episode, was just hearing Sangyeon say how proud he was of his team and just of their overall performance. And he said that he's not much of a crier, but because their performance was so great, I mean, it just brought him to tears. And again, that was so sweet hearing that from him, and I'm just really proud of the boys because their performance was amazing. All right, so now let's talk about the rankings for this episode. This is one of my least favorite moments of Kingdom, but I do want to talk about it. So how the ranking is with the expert judging plus the self-evaluation, with all those points added. So in 6th place, it is ATEEZ. 5th place is iKON. 4th is the boys. 3rd is BTOB. 2nd is Stray Kids. And placed number 1 is SF9. So we really do see how things change. I say this in every single episode. You never know what is going to happen. Whoever is in first place, they could be last and vice versa. I mean, this is a perfect example. For expert judging, Stray Kids, they went from 6th place to being first, just with the expert judging points alone. And then ATEEZ with the expert judging, they used to be in first place and then they went in 5th. The rankings with just the expert judging, iKON and ATEEZ, they were tied, but combined with the self-evaluation, iKON is 5th and ATEEZ is 6th. But it just shows voting is really important because it could definitely change how each group will rank differently and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really shocked. I mean, I loved every single performance because they were all different. It's literally impossible to put one performance against the other because they're just so different, even down to the genre of music. They're all different. They all have a different storyline going and concept and theme and stuff. However, I'm not gonna lie, ATEEZ was definitely one of my personal favorite performances. Their performance definitely took my breath away. It was really incredible. But again, all the groups performed wonderfully, and I don't think anyone deserves anything lower than 3rd place. I wish all the groups could just be placed 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, but obviously that's not how the show works. And I am so curious about each group's performance for the finale. I know every single group, they're gonna go all out. Everything that they have, they are going to incorporate it in their performances. I know we're gonna have some amazing show-stopping stages. It's gonna be amazing. I'm very curious how the set design will be. I mean, how the members perform the songs, what story they're gonna tell, how are they going to finish off this show with what performance. And I look forward to it. It's gonna be intense. It's probably gonna be stressful, just like on Road to Kingdom, the finale for that was really, oh my gosh, it was really intense. And I know Kingdom is gonna be just as intense, maybe even more. All right, so that wraps up my Kingdom episode 9 recap. So if you guys are new to my channel, hello and welcome. You guys could feel free to subscribe. I post reaction videos on a weekly basis, and I also have a lovely blog where I talk more about comebacks, album reviews, and song reviews. I will link it on the description box below so you guys could check it out. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you guys next time.